Welcome to Just Between Us, a podcast powered by the Corey Johnson Program for Post-Traumatic Healing in Boston.
Every week, we're going to focus on ways to heal from the devastating impact of collective trauma on our world.
My name is Reverend Liz Walker.
And I'm Judelle Cummins.
So let's get started. Judelle, the latest news is really not promising about Johnson & Johnson. That's the third vaccine available to fight COVID-19, and they've run into big problems. It's caused at least 2 deaths from blood clotting and at least 7 illnesses and maybe more. I was just reading a poll out of the Washington Post, and it says that fewer than 1 in 4 Americans say they're willing to take J&J. So that's we're going to lose that. I don't know how we're going to regain that. For me, that's not surprising.
Yeah, I hear you. And because I know that it was on pause for 1 second, and now I think it's back up. So I went to the CDC website, and I'm just going to read what it says on their website. So it says CDC and FDA have recommended that use of Johnson & Johnson COVID-19 vaccine resume in the United States effective April 23rd, 2021. However, women younger than 50 years old especially should be aware of the rare risk of blood clots with low platelets after vaccination, and that other COVID vaccines are available where the risk has not been seen, end quote. And so, Reverend Liz, I hear that. It's like, okay, you guys kind of have an idea of what might be causing the blood clots and all that stuff, but I don't think I'm convinced. Do you think that makes a difference?
I think this is going to be a tough one. And what was really sad about this, Judelle, is that this is the vaccine that a lot of people wanted to take because you only had to take one shot. And so people were very excited about that. It's going to take a lot for Johnson & Johnson to get back up again. And I don't really know. I don't know what to do.
Yeah. And then I'm also thinking about the other side of people who are still hesitant. Come just today, people are still hesitant in taking the vaccine. And I think about the pressure that people may be experiencing. I know for myself, I'm still sometimes even, I think, experience a little bit of that pressure. You have the vaccination selfies, and if you don't have one, you're kind of looked at as like, oh, you don't have a vaccination selfie. Or, just the idea that a lot of times people assume that if you're hesitant of taking the vaccine, it must be because of some racial or political reason. So basically, if I don't take it, then I must not care about other people. And it's like, well, that's not necessarily it. I do care about people. And I used to take the flu shot. So is that fair is my question.
I don't think it's fair. I don't feel that anyone who hasn't decided yet should feel extra pressure. I would imagine there's a lot of pressure internally. But let me ask you this, and we didn't say we were going to do this.
It's okay.
Surprise question. Why are you hesitant at this point? Because you were giving me reasons that you weren't hesitant.
Right.
Why are you hesitant?
That's a great question. I'm hesitant because I want more information. And I believe in doing things and making a decision and feeling peace about it and not feeling like I was pressured to do it. And then if something happens and I'm like going to blame somebody else, it's like, I don't want to blame anybody. If I make this decision, I want to make this decision because I'm excited to make this decision and I feel confident and I'm at peace with the fact that I'm taking it.
That makes all the sense in the world. So I'm not going to put any pressure on you. I'm not going to point a finger at you.
Maybe if I don't have my selfie?
No, and I think I did it earlier, but I think I found my own peace about this. But I do suggest, and what makes me so proud of you since we started this podcast, and I think you've always been this way, is that you are looking at the data. You are looking for information. And if you look at the data, even about the Johnson & Johnson situation, which is a mess, they have given out 7 million doses of Johnson & Johnson. And by my statistics that I've found, there have been only 7 illnesses, and those are horrible. Blood clots are horrible, and I'm not trying to diminish that. I think there's been 2 deaths, maybe 3. But if you look at that just at numbers and statistics, those are huge odds that those are, that it's going to be a good outcome. There's no, it just, that's a 1 in a million kind of situation that you're going to have problems. So I think the issue is people are emotional about this. It is
absolutely,
it's a lot going on. This whole thing has been traumatic and emotional. So I think it is very difficult, but you should have the right to get your information and make your own decision.
Right. And I really appreciate these podcasts and even the webinars that we've been doing, because the Corey Johnson program has really been pushing to help people get that information. So thank you, Reverend Liz, for leading those webinars. And for those who are listening, definitely check them out. Go to our website or the Roxbury Presbyterian Church YouTube channel. And we have a playlist of all the webinars that we've been doing.
So we've done how many of those I think we've done 6?
6, yeah.
Six since it started. We started with Anthony Fauci, who came on, and we've talked to the people who were involved in the experiment that used the men from Tuskegee, and we've talked to our Congresswoman, Ayanna Presley. They are good and informative. And they're evergreen. The information that you're going to get off of those websites, off of those podcasts, they're not podcasts, are they?
Town halls, but you know, just
webinars,
it's all the same thing.
Old school.
It's all the same thing.
The information that you're going to get is really good.
Yeah. So definitely check those out. But so what is your recommendation? I mean, you've already stated, looking and making sure that people just get information. But is there anything else that you think you would recommend for those who are still grappling?
Well, I would think, again, that this is a psychological and emotional issue. And I'm not saying that anybody's crazy, but I'm thinking that we're dealing with this emotionally. And we're dealing with this because we have stress around issues of getting shots. We have stress about what's happening in the world. And one of the things about trust that you have to remember is people who've been traumatized by violence, abuse, abandonment, people who have been traumatized by unjust systems. And I think that's a big problem in our community. People don't trust systems because systems have failed us. We're going to have difficulty trusting. But the question is not, Judell, how you work on your trust issues. The question is on the systems proving themselves trustworthy. So I'm putting the pressure not on you, but on the systems. The healthcare system has to do a lot to get people's trust. And I think some of these hospitals and healthcare providers are working on that, but it's going to take that kind of thing.
Right. I agree. And I agree that it's going to take time for those healthcare systems to get up to speed, to become more transparent, and really earn the trust of the community once again. And I say once again, lightly, because for some people they might think, well, once again, when have I ever been able to trust the healthcare system? So I'm not excluding or saying that, for some people it's never been, it was always good. But I have the question, Reverend Liz.
Okay.
I'm not blind to reality, right? What if the pharmaceutical companies did everything possible, the healthcare system was as transparent as they possibly could be, and and they did their due diligence to try to really just build that trust? There's still some people who are just not going to trust them. So here's my last question, Reverend Liz. Do you think we will get enough people to take the vaccine to kill this virus?
That's a great question, Judell. A great question. I read somewhere that about 40% of Americans so far have received one shot, and about 35% of people in Massachusetts have received the vaccine. I think it's both shots.
Wow.
I could be wrong, but we need at least 70 or 80% to reach herd immunity. That means that it's safe for everybody, even those who have not taken it. We got a lot of work to do. And that's why these conversations are so important. We can't let up. We just got to keep talking about it,
right, and
keep getting more and more information. And then I guess, I'm a preacher, so I'm going to always have hope, Judell. That's who I am, and that is what I do.
That's what we need, so keep it coming.
And that's it for this week's Just Between Us. We hope you'll join us again next week. And we hope you'll continue to join us in our Zoom conversations called Can We Talk, where people from all over share their stories of loss, grief, hope, and healing. If you want to learn more about Can We Talk and the Corey Johnson program, visit our website at rpcsocialimpactctr.org. That's rpcsocialimpactctr.org. Thanks for joining us.